Hi there, this is garyryanblair, and I've got a confession to make. A large part of my job involves rubbing my clients the wrong way. And I do that by asking difficult questions, by challenging false assumptions, by attacking comfort zones, and calling them out on their bullshit. And they love me for it. Today, my intent is to do the exact same thing for you by laying down some tough love. So prepare to be irritated, harassed, and have your chops busted. As once you get past the drama of having your BS confronted, I promise you, you'll thank me for it. If you say there's an elephant in the room, you mean that there's an obvious problem or a difficult situation that people know exists, but do not want to talk about or do anything to solve. And we see this cowardly, avoidance-type behavior everywhere. We see it in business, in politics and sports, in education and healthcare and religion, and we see it in our relationships, in our health, and our finances as well. Now, over the years, I've come to the understanding that rather than dealing with reality as it is and confronting undesirable truths head-on, most people, and that includes companies, communities, and even governments, choose to stick their head in the sand. They pretend that an obvious problem or a difficult situation does not exist, and they hope that it will somehow solve itself. They prefer to embrace a convenient lie over an inconvenient truth. In short, they favor playing with reality as they wish it to be. And as a result, they live a life of denial, of resistance, excuse-making, blaming, avoidance, and other diversionary behaviors. So what is it? What is the obvious problem or the difficult situation that people know exists in their lives, but do not want to talk about, much less have their bullshit called out? And is there a way to permanently solve it? The untapped human potential is the elephant in the room. I'm talking about the hopes, the dreams, goals, and good intentions that do not translate into purposeful action. That is the greatest plague of mankind. However, there is good news. There is a bright side. Because untapped human potential is also the quickest and the easiest of all problems to solve. You see, on a global scale, there's a chronic and ever-expanding disconnect between intentions and results. Because the goals that companies and individuals set for themselves far too frequently bear little resemblance to the results that they actually achieve. And if you have any chance of unleashing your greatness and living at the peak of your potential, it will be because of your ability to close what I call the knowing-doing gap. This truth is as simple as it is profound. Knowing what to do is not enough. It never has been, nor will it ever be. As the marketplace only rewards implementation, and I mean successful implementation. And what this means is that the hopes, the dreams, the goals, and good intentions that don't translate into purposeful action are completely meaningless. I'm talking about zip, zero, nada, ungats. The elephant in the room which prevents people from achieving their goals and the root cause of most people's suffering in life lies in their unwillingness or their inability to close this gap between knowing what they need to do and actually doing it. Now, does that sound like anyone you know? Now, how do I know this? It's very simple. Behavior never lies. The real essence of truth, of who you really are, is not to be found in what you believe and what you say or even know intellectually, but by what you actually do. And in the words of Rudyard Kipling, knowledge is knowing and wisdom is doing. So allow me to put some meat on these well-endowed bones and expose the hypocrisy gap between knowing and doing. So we all know that eating a healthy diet is the right call to make. Yet far too many of us do the wrong thing and choose to eat properly. We all know that regular exercise is the best thing that we can do for our bodies. However, a good number of us mistreat their most prized possession. We all know that we should save more than we spend. But the debt held by far too many people provides proof of a lack of understanding. We all know that continued learning is the smartest thing that we can do for our future. However, most do not even crack open a book after they leave high school or college. We all know that promises and commitments are meant to be honored. Yet when faced with difficulty, resolve and character quickly heads for the door. We all know that going the extra mile for our clients is the right thing to do. However, most refuse to do what they know is right for the very people who are responsible for paying their wages. And we all know what we need to do in order to achieve our goals. However, the majority of people choose procrastination over initiative, fear over courage, and excuses over responsibility. That explains why most people have very little to show on the highlight reel and while they go to their graves with their music still inside them. Now, I want to make this point abundantly clear. Untapped human potential is the elephant in the room, and it's also the quickest and the easiest of all problems to solve. So we can all do extraordinary things and quickly transform our lives, our careers, our health, and our relationships. Once we cut the bullshit behavior out of our life, once we accept reality as it is, once we confront undesirable truths head on, and once we do what we know is the right thing to do. See, Confucius was absolutely right when he said over 2,000 years ago, to know and not to do is still not to know. See, the greatest challenge you'll ever face in your lifetime is to address the elephant in the room and to immediately get to work closing the gap between knowing and doing. And I promise you this, the faster you do it and the more deliberate your intent, the sooner you will live happily ever after. And it's for this reason why I created the 100-Day Challenge. Just follow my lead for the next 100 days, and I'll not only show you how to crush your goals and transform your life in record time, I'll also help you to solve this pesky knowing, doing problem forever.